Magical butterfly spirit here. I watched Blonde and I regret it. This is our Marilyn Monroe Blonde tarot reading. Let's get started. Alright, so Marilyn had warned me a couple of months ago about this movie, Blonde, that's on Netflix right now, and she was not lying. It is terrible. It really is. And I watched Blonde. Marilyn wanted me to watch it so I could dispel whatever it is that movie was, and speak for her, which I'm honored. I've done channel readings with Marilyn Monroe before. This is gonna be slightly different. This is more about like putting things to right, she just told me, and also like showing support for her fans. So she wants everybody to know that everybody that's been saying like being vocal about how wrong that movie is, she says thank you. She really appreciate the fact that you guys are standing up for her, that she feels it in the spiritual realm. She also wants you guys to know that a lot of the things that was said in the movie was a lie. Obviously, they took a lot of creative liberties. They focus on the things. This is me channel from Marilyn Monroe. They focused on everything that was wrong and amplified it up, but then times it and increased it to the point where it was unrecognizable. They never focused on anything positive in my life, and the things that they did show that were the positive loves in my life, even those things, they made it look bad. So she's talking about Arthur Miller, for example, who was like a great love of her life, but they made her, she was an equal in the relationship, and they made it seem more like she wasn't confident in the relationship, as if she wasn't confident enough because he was smarter than her, but which is not true. Marilyn Monroe was very smart. She had a high IQ. That's part of the reason why Arthur Miller was so in love with her, because he saw her as an equal. That being said, their dynamic played out. The reason why the relationship ended was because the love could not endure in the spotlight. And she said that's the only reason why. She says she's with him now. He's one of her forever soulmates, and it's not something that will ever end. That she will always be his Norma. She wants to say that she never had a threesome with Charlie Chaplin and the other guy. She's saying, what was his name? Chappie? I think she's saying Chappie was a kind, dear soul. He would never do anything cruel, intentionally be cruel to me. So there was this scene where, I am not spoiling this. Do not watch this movie. Do not. It's 3 hours of trash. There was a scene where Charlie Chaplin Jr. and the other guy, Howard something Jr., who in the movie were in a relationship together, like a throuple, like a poly relationship with Marilyn Monroe, which Marilyn Monroe said that's not true at all. Can I say that, Marilyn? Maybe. She said maybe later. But they show pictures to her husband, the baseball player. I forgot his name. DiMaggio? I don't remember. And it was the naked pictures that are very popular. They're the ones that are on Playboy. She said that's not how it happened at all. Charlie Chappie would never do that. And she said every relationship that they showed, they made it look like everybody was out to hurt me, to target me, against me, that I had no true friends. I had many dear friends in my life that they did not portray on film. The way they betrayed my mother hurt me dearly. She was not a perfect human, but the way they betrayed her saddened me. The way they betrayed my my miscarriages. She said not abortions, my miscarriages saddened me. The way they betrayed my relationship with John, JFK, with John infuriated me. She said I would never have allowed him to treat me in that way. We were not perfect, but it was fair. She said she's like, it was a affair. It was, like, it was, of course it was not perfect. Of course it wasn't something that was sustainable. She said she cared about him. He dearly loved her. But they knew this was not something that could be, especially because of who he was. She saw it more as fun times, fast times, like an opportunity to be with this amazing person. But she said she was, as much as she cared for him and wanted a actual relationship, she was fully aware, and she would never have let him treat her like that. She said that she was touched inappropriately by those in Hollywood and those in her life before she became Marilyn. She said it never got to that point that they showed in the beginning of the film. Y'all know what I'm talking about, the R word. She said it never got to that point that was depicted in the film. There have been men who have taken advantage of her because they saw her as a sex pot, but she always had the upper hand. She said the reason why she became addicted to drugs was because it was prescribed to her. And she's showing me the opioid epidemic. And she's saying in this time, more people will be more understanding because of the opioid epidemic. But at the time, they only saw it as a dumb blonde getting high and not being serious. She's saying that, I should turn these files so you guys can see it. She's saying that the reason why she became addicted to painkillers was because of her anxiety and her depression. And she made the mistake of being open about it to the people that she worked with. And they're the ones who said, you should see this doctor. And that's how it started. And the pills helped, but then she became addicted to the feeling of, because she wasn't treating her depression, the pills became a way for her to do so. They're saying, she wants me to say this very delicately. The way she died is wrapped up in conspiracy theories. And she said, yes, one of those conspiracy theories is accurate. But she wants me to be careful in not saying more than that. She said the best time she had in her life was when she was not Marilyn, was when she was Norma. She loved Marilyn, but Marilyn was a persona. It was an extension of her, a duality. I've been doing a dark feminine and divine feminine energy, and she's saying it was a duality of her dark feminine energy and her divine feminine energy. Marilyn was the dark feminine energy of her. She used her Marilyn persona to get ahead in the world because she lived in a world where being smart and pretty didn't get you very far. So she knew that Norma couldn't get very far, whereas Marilyn could. And once she said Marilyn opened the door for Norma to go through. So she used Marilyn to get into places that Norma would not have been able to get in. And then once she was in, she took advantage of that because people they weren't prepared for Norma. They were prepared for the Dissy Blonde. They were prepared for Marilyn. And it always took people by surprise by who she truly was. And she said there were relationships that ended because of the fact that they thought they were dating Marilyn or married to Marilyn, and they really were married to Norma or dating Norma. And once they realized that they were dating Norma, that's when they could not handle it. She wants me to be very clear in saying that she's not talking about Norma Miller. She's talking about others. She's very protective about Norma Miller. Arthur Miller. I'm sorry. Arthur Miller. Anything else? Yeah, she wants me to take a couple of cards. She wants us to write a petition. We don't write petitions anymore. We tweet. We tweet Marilyn, and we've been tweeting. She has a message for you to bask in the sun, to enjoy your life, to step out and do things that you wouldn't normally do for yourself, to treat yourself as the beautiful woman that you are, or man if you're watching. But this feels like feminine energy, like times 1,000. Very strong feminine energy right now. And always be your own protector. Always be in charge of your own money. Always be in charge of the contracts. Always be in charge of everything that goes on your life, because people will take from women because they're scared of the true power of femininity. It's bad. If I was okay, let me do a review. The review is 3 hours of excuses to expose the actor's breasts. It's 3 hours of excuses to pretend that they're being artsy, and when in reality they're just trying to have a reason to be unnecessarily gross and grotesque. And you could tell it was made by somebody who thinks they could get away with things when they cloak it in art. Because it felt to me that I was watching somebody who had an obsession with women, but not in a positive way. And they were using this movie to exploit that. And they're telling me I have to be careful. This is for entertainment purposes only. Everything I say is alleged. If this is your first time watching me and you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. And if you are a subscriber, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. If you already saw the movie or bits of it, because there's people who said that they weren't able to watch it to the end, leave a comment. If you enjoyed this reading, leave a comment. I really appreciate you guys. And until next time, and if you'd like to share this with others, I appreciate that as well. All right, have a great one. Bye-bye.